everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Before this trip, a lot of people told us that Oahu was the best island for families with kids. Our original plan was to spend the whole week on Oahu, but I really wanted to see an active volcano, so we decided to spend 2 days for the big island and most of the trip on Oahu. It turned out to be a very busy week. From sea turtles and double rainbows to volcanoes, lava tubes, and snorkeling, this trip was full of surprises. Come along and see what we discovered in Hawaii. After a 5-hour flight from California, we arrived in Oahu and settled into our Airbnb in Kapolei. The next morning, we woke up early and headed to Pearl Harbor. The most important site at Pearl Harbor is the USS Arizona Memorial. The memorial itself is free to visit, but visitors need to reserve a time entry in advance, and those reservations can be hard to get. Luckily, there was a standby option. We put our names on the list and explored the museums while we waited. Less than an hour later, we got a text message saying we could board the boat. The boat took us across the harbor to the memorial, which is built directly above the remains of the USS Arizona. The ship sank during the attack on Pearl Harbor and still rests beneath the water today. Back on shore, we saw several other historic ships around the harbor. As we explored the museums, we learned more about the events of December 7th, 1941, and how the attack changed history. After lunch, we continued toward the east side of the island. Along the way, we stopped at Byodo-In Temple. At first, we thought we had driven into a cemetery, which felt a little creepy. But hidden at the back was a beautiful temple surrounded by mountains. The best part wasn't even the temple. It was the koi fish and all the pigeons. The koi fish seemed to know exactly where the food came from. Whenever someone walked near the pond, hundreds of fish would suddenly gather at the edge. The pigeons weren't afraid of people at all either. Feeding them was so much fun. After feeding the koi fish and pigeons, we continued driving north. We just arrived at Kualoa Ranch. You might recognize this place from movies like Jurassic Park. The mountains here were absolutely stunning, with sharp green ridges rising dramatically from the landscape. We joined the jungle expedition tour, which took us through valleys, forests, and filming locations. The scenery was incredible, with huge green mountains on one side and the ocean on the other. You can also enjoy lots of tours around here, like the UTV Rapture Adventure Tours, the Hollywood Movie Sites Tours, and the Jurassic Adventure Tours, and a lot more. After the tour, we were pretty tired. Instead of doing more activities, we went to the nearby beach at the Kualoa Regional Park. One thing that makes this beach special is the view. Behind the beach are the dramatic mountains of Kualoa Ranch. We spent some time relaxing, playing in the sand, and enjoying the peaceful scenery. The next morning, it was time for a new adventure, snorkeling. Since it was our first time, we wanted to start somewhere calm and safe. So we went to Ko Olina Lagoon, which was only a few minutes drive from our Airbnb. We arrived early and there were almost no people there. The water was clear and gentle. Even though there weren't huge numbers of fish, spotting each little fish felt like finding treasure. There were also many crabs hiding among the rocks. It turned out to be the perfect place for first-time snorkelers like us. After snorkeling, we went back to clean up and have lunch. Then we spent the afternoon exploring the southeastern coast of Oahu. There seemed to be beautiful viewpoints everywhere. Every time we thought we had found the best viewpoint, another one appeared around the next corner. along the coast, we came across several beaches with black volcanic rocks along the water's edge. The black rocks looked completely different from the beaches we usually see in California. Of course, we also found time to play in the sand again. We also hiked part of the Koko Crater Railway Trail. An old military railway climbs straight up the side of the crater, and it's a great photo spot. We didn't make it all the way to the top, but even from where we turned around, the views were impressive. By late afternoon, we made our way toward Waikiki. As soon as we arrived, the atmosphere changed completely. Compared with the quieter beaches we had visited earlier, Waikiki was full of energy. People were swimming, surfing, playing volleyball, having picnics, and simply relaxing on the beach. There was so much going on everywhere. And of course, there was plenty of delicious food too. After dinner, we wandered around the Waikiki area for a while, looking at the shops and enjoying the lively atmosphere. Then we made our way to the shoreline and watched the sky change as the sun slowly set. We even stopped to watch a free hula performance. The dancers were very talented, but after a long day, we were getting tired and decided to continue our evening walk instead. As the sky slowly grew darker, Waikiki became even more lively. The lights came on, more people filled the streets, and the whole area felt full of energy. The next day, we headed to Oahu's famous North Shore. Our first stop was Laniakea Beach, also known as Turtle Beach. When we arrived, we were greeted by one of the most beautiful sights of our entire trip. A giant double rainbow stretched across the ocean. Even though the weather was cloudy and there was only one sea turtle on the beach, it was still an unforgettable stop. The turtle was huge and looked completely relaxed. Next, we visited the Dole Plantation. We rode the train through the plantation where we saw fields filled with different tropical plants. Along the way, there were signs telling us what we were looking at, and we learned about crops like bananas, cacao, and sugarcane. The ride took about 20 minutes, and it felt like a relaxing break before more exploring. Then we explored the plantation garden. It felt like a giant outdoor plant museum, filled with unusual tropical plants from all over the world. Many of them were plants we had never seen before. This is the hala tree. It looks like there are many legs holding it up. These are called prop roots, which helps it stand in windy areas. The third activity we tried at the Dole Plantation was the giant maze. Before going in, we noticed something funny. The Chinese translation on the sign didn't say maze ticket. It basically said tickets to get lost. Honestly, after walking through the maze, I think that translation was pretty accurate. We also hung up a family lock with each of our initials on it. Maybe we'll be able to find it again someday. Of course, we couldn't leave without trying the famous pineapple treats. The pineapple ice cream was delicious. It had such a strong pineapple flavor that tasted like a frozen pineapple. After spending so much time under the sun, we were ready for some shade. That's when we discovered one of the most relaxing places of the entire trip. Wahiawa Botanical Garden, a beautiful botanical garden that is free to the public. There were very few tourists there. Instead, we saw local families and friends gathering, chatting, and spending time together. The short trails were surrounded by giant tropical plants, and we even ended up playing with a local kid while exploring the garden. The only downside? The mosquitoes were very hungry that day. That evening, we returned to Ko Olina for sunset. The same lagoon that had been nearly empty during our morning snorkeling adventure was now filled with families. The atmosphere felt completely different from Waikiki. Everything seemed calmer. This is how my dress got wet. And this is how my hair got wet. Thanks, little brother. As the sun slowly dropped toward the horizon, the clouds lit up with beautiful shades of gold. It was one of the most beautiful sunsets I have ever seen. Our last morning on Oahu arrived sooner than we expected. On the way to the airport, we made a quick stop at Hawaii's plantation village. We didn't have enough time for a full visit, but it gave us a glimpse into what life was like for many of Hawaii's early Asian immigrants and plantation workers. Soon, we boarded a flight from Oahu to the Big Island. But our biggest adventure was still ahead. Next, we were off to the Big Island. See you in part 2!